Good afternoon and welcome to Youngevity's 2016 Top Achievers Dream Vacation registration video. We are excited that you're watching this. That means that you have received an invitation to participate in the Youngevity Top Achievers Club vacation. So we're excited about that. We're excited to have you on there. So again, congratulations and thank you for watching this video because it will help your registration process and answer a lot of your questions that you are probably having right now. So I want to keep it short because I know your time is valuable. So let's go ahead and get started. First of all, what is the Top Achievers Club? What is this vacation thing that I just won? It is a 7-day Western Caribbean cruise. Very exciting. In Youngevity, I hope that we are paying for that cruise or all of it or even part of it for you. So let me tell you a little bit about the cruise. It sets sail on January 17th. You have to be on board the ship about 2 p.m. It sails out of Miami and then, of course, returns to Miami on September 24th. We go to Ocho Rios, Jamaica, Georgetown, Grand Cayman, Cozumel, Mexico, and then Great Stirrup Cay in the Bahamas. That is the private island for the ship, so we're excited about that. So much goes on the ship. It is more than just a cruise, and it's something that you really don't want to miss out on. If you've never been on a cruise before, hopefully this will give you some information about it, but please contact your upline leader. Make sure, find out if they're going. Find out what they thought about the last trip. Why should you go? And ask them any of the questions that you might have or that I might not be able to answer here. So let's go ahead and get started and let's hopefully answer all of those questions for you. What's included? What's included in the trip that I just won? So we base everything off of the inside category. Now, again, if you haven't cruised before, let me tell you a little bit about the categories. A ship has multiple categories. For example, we have an inside cabin, and on this ship we actually have several categories within just that inside category. There's midship, there's family inside, there's forward or aft. The inside cabin categories are all over the ship. So it also depends on what deck you want to be on. Then there is an ocean view cabin, there's a balcony cabin, there's a mini suite cabin, and there is even a grand suite categories that I'll tell you a little bit more as we go through the call. So the inside category is what's included in what you just won. We also include the port charges, the taxes, the gratuities that are paid to the waiters and the cabin stewards and those types of people. We also, all of the food aboard ship is included. Now they do have some items that are for an additional charge. However, everything you need is there. 24-hour food, room service, restaurants, some kiosks around the ship that you can get specialty type items from. But most everything there is included. Entertainment, they have entertainment going on all of the time, as well as the Youngevity meetings and events. Of course, that's included the Youngevity gifts and the networking, fun, and training. As we go through this PowerPoint or this presentation, you'll see some fun pictures from the last trip, just to give you an idea of some of the fun things. I'm not going to spend time on each of the pictures. They're just there to give you an idea of some of the things that we did or some of the gifts that were given, some of the activities and things like that. So what is not included in the vacation? Well, Tom and Denise outfit is not included. However, we do have a costume party on board the ship. We actually have lots of Youngevity activities on board. So we'll let you know more about that once you get registered, and you can decide if you want to dress up or if you just want to come and have fun with us. So what's not included? Your airfare to Miami. The ship sails out of Miami. However, you can fly into Miami, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm Beach, and then transfer over to the Miami port if that's what you would like to do. The pre or post hotel in Miami is not included. Now, not everybody's going to need to have a pre hotel. If you want to come in on Saturday, then you can come in the night before and then just transfer from the hotel over to the port. If you want to come in on Sunday, you just make sure that you are in by 1 o'clock, grab a taxi, make it to the port by 2, and then you are all set. It also doesn't include the transfer. So if you flew in on Sunday, it doesn't include the transfer from the airport to the port. You just grab a taxi. It's less than 10 minutes away, a real quick taxi ride. It does not include any of the specialty drinks or restaurants or shows on board the ship. As I mentioned, there are specialty restaurants there that you can pay to, like some of them are $10 additional up to, I think the highest price one was about $30. And you can set those reservations and pay that additional charge, or you can eat in the dining room and it's absolutely free. The ship that we're on, the Norwegian Getaway, also has a dinner show on board. When I was on the ship, it was called, it was a magic show, and you had dinner while you were, it had a circle, theater that you can participate in. I'm going to tell you all about those after you get registered. There's lots of options to really make your cruise a very memorable trip, and geared towards the activities that you want to participate in. But right now we're really focused on just getting you registered. So let's answer some of those questions. How do I figure out what I've earned? So you should have received an email showing you all of the July points, and then you will receive an email once August is closed and calculated with your final point count. So once you have that, you'll know how many points you've earned, and then you can go to this scale. This scale is on the TAC Dream Vacation flyer. There's a front and a back to that. The back side will answer a lot of questions, but on the front you'll see this chart. It will also be on the email that we send you that shows how many points it takes and what the cost equivalent is. So let's say first you need to identify, will you be traveling alone? If I am traveling alone and I've earned 7,500 points, I'm going to find that category there, that line, and I'm going to go across and I'm going to see that it costs $200 for me to go on this trip. I didn't quite earn enough points to get the invitation for free. Well, what if I want to bring a guest? Well, I just go right next to that for two, and it's going to cost $1,200 for me and a guest to travel on this trip with Youngevity. What if I earned 10,500 points? Well, I go down the column, the green column, to the 10,500 category. I'm free, and my guest is only $800 now. So that's how that scale works. What if I'm in between? What if I earn 11,000 points? Well, you can see I'm not quite to that next category of 11,250, so I jump back up to the 10,500. It is free, and I owe $800 if I want to bring a guest. So that's how you read that chart. It's a pretty simple chart. Okay, what if I want to upgrade my cabin from an inside cabin? So if you want to upgrade to an ocean view, we give you the option of either paying for it if you don't have enough points, or if you do have extra points after you have paid for your cruise, then you can use the points. So for example, an ocean view is $200 or 1,500 points. A balcony is $450 or 350 points. A mini suite is $600 or 4,500 points. Now these points in dollars are per person. So if you have two people traveling and you want to request a mini suite, that's $1,200 or 9,000 points. Now, and I think it's important to understand that the upgrades are based on availability. We already have our cabins assigned to us. So we had to guess how many inside cabins we were going to have, outside balconies, suites, how many people are going to want connecting rooms, how many people are going to bring a third guest or a fourth guest. So all of those are already assigned to us. That's why it's very important that you register. If you're bringing more than one guest, it's very important that you register right away. Or if you want a specific deck, even if you have two people but you want to be on a specific deck, you want to be a certain side of the ship, any other amenities that you need, really your registration right now will help us to give you the cabin category and configuration that you're looking for. You'll probably hear me say that a couple times on this call because we want to get you registered right away. We really want this to be your dream vacation, and by registering right away, it gives us a little bit more flexibility to do that. So what if I want to bring more than one guest? Now there's a question, do you want to have them in the same cabin as you? So you can have up to 4 people in one cabin, again, if we have something available. So the cost to bring a 3rd or 4th person in your cabin would be an additional $600. Now balconies and higher categories are a little bit more than that. It's $800 per person. So if you want to bring 4 people in your cabin, you use the chart on the previous screen to figure out what the first 2 people will cost, and then the 3rd and 4th person would be $600 a piece. Now what does that include? It includes their berth in the cabin, the taxes and port charge, the gratuities, and then all of the events that we have, and then limited gifts. They don't receive as many gifts as the first 2 guests, but we do want them to feel a part of the group, and so there are some items there. And again, registering early is the best option in getting those because they are very limited. So now what if I just I want them in another cabin, or maybe I want a cabin for 4 and I want a cabin for 2, and I want them to be connected so that we can open the door between us. When you're purchasing another cabin, you can't earn for another cabin, so points are out. But when you purchase it, it's 1,000 points for the $1,000 for the first 2 people. So I earned my first cabin for 2, and I want to have a connecting cabin. I'm going to bring my kids, and I want them in their own cabin. Then the cost would be $2,000. You are unable to split that. So say I want 3 people to come. I earn for the first 2, and I have 1 guest, but I want them in another cabin. As far as the cruise line is concerned, all cabins are based on 2 people in a cabin. So when you do that, we also require you to either pay for 2 and only have 1 in there, or go ahead and purchase for 2 and have 2 in there. And again, what's included is for that second cabin would be the cabin itself, the taxes, the port charges, the gratuities, all the Youngevity events, and then again those limited gifts go along with that. Okay, so what does it cost? Going back to that question, that initial question, it will depend on all of the elements that we just talked about. How many are attending? 1 cabin or 2 cabins? Do I want an upgrade? And how many points I have earned? That's part of the registration process. Using the chart that we showed you and the numbers that we gave you, you should be able to do some quick math and get an idea of what your cruise is going to cost you the way you have it listed. We will also be able to help you with that, confirm that number after your registration. We can get back to you and say, here's what we've calculated this at. You were correct. Or if you weren't correct, then what we'll do is we'll let you know what that difference is and give you the opportunity to get registered. So let's answer some of the most frequently asked questions. First question, both my spouse and I have an account that have earned points. How does that work? So you may each use these points towards your own passage and request a room together. So I have a Youngevity account that's earned points, and I've earned a trip for 1. And my husband has a Youngevity account, and he's earned a trip for 1. Maybe he's even earned a trip for 1 and a balcony upgrade. We each make a separate request based on our account number. I turn mine in and say I want to be a single traveler and I want to room with my husband. And he turns in his request based on his account number and says I want to travel as a single traveler with a balcony upgrade and I want to room with, and then he'd put my name in that category. That's the best opportunity of using those points together. You can each use your extra points also towards bringing a guest. So let's say I earned a trip for 2 and my spouse earned a trip for 2. I can still request a cabin and bring a guest because I've earned that, or even if I have to pay for that second person. And then my husband is also able to request a cabin and bring a guest, and we can swap. So I'm going to stay with my husband, and I'm going to be really nice and bring my daughter and her husband and let them be in the other cabin. So we're not going to make you stay in those separate cabins, but in that case, both accounts have earned the right to bring a guest, and they can do that. Points may not be combined together. So what we can't do is take my points and my husband's points, put them together, because I may have extra points on my account and he may have some extra points on his account. We can't put them together and use that to pay for our balcony upgrades or combine them in any way. Or you may not combine them with somebody else's points that they've earned, which goes to the next question. I can't attend. Can I gift my points to someone else? So points are non-transferable. They can't be combined in any manner, whether it's my son or my husband, my mother. They can't attend, or I have some leftover points that I'm not using. I don't want the mini suite, so I'm not going to upgrade, so I have some extra points. Can I transfer them to somebody else? Points are non-transferable and may only be used by the name of the person on the account. Now, if there's a business name listed, then we should have documents already that shows who the business owner is on file, and that's who would be allowed to transfer. So if you're part of a business account but you have your own account listed under your name, you would not be able to participate in both accounts. Okay? All right, next question. I can't attend. Just answered that. Looks like I copied that screen over. Let's go. But those were some fun pictures. So hopefully you caught those real quick before I moved it forward. Using the points for your upgrade. After you have used the points required for the cruise, you can use any remaining points towards an upgrade. Points must be used in 1,500 increments. So for example, remember the Ocean View upgrade was 1,500 points. So once you've hit 9,000, you've used that, and I'm at 10,500. Now I can use the extra 1,500 to upgrade to an Ocean View. That's how that would work. Partial points don't count. So let's say I only earned 10,000 points. 9,000 was used for my trip, my cruise, as in an inside cabin. Those extra 1,000 points, you didn't quite make it to that next level to be able to use those. So you would have to select the cash option in order to upgrade. So that's what we mean by partial points may not be used. Okay, if I'm traveling alone, can I select my roommate? Yes, we love it when you can select your roommate. You know, if it's a spouse, again, you're just going to put on your request that I want to room with, and then you put their name in. If you are just traveling as single and you're not bringing a guest at all, or you don't, maybe you have a friend that's going and they're traveling as a single, just have each of you put each other's name on the registration, and then you can room together. If you don't know anybody at the time of registration, we will put out a list. Once we have all of the singles that haven't requested somebody, we'll put out a list, and maybe you'll be able to look at the list and say, oh, I know so-and-so, I know Susie. I want to room with Susie. You're going to contact Susie and say, hey, Susie, do you want to room with me? And then you'll have an opportunity to make that request. Now, let's say you don't know anybody on there that's traveling as a single. What we do is we put out a survey, and we ask questions like, how old are you male or female? What are your interests? Are you a night person? Are you a morning person? Those kinds of things, so that we can try and match distributors together that have like interests. Okay? What if I want my own room? You absolutely can get your own room. You just pay that second person cost. So I don't have my chart up, but you go back and say, okay, you just pay, basically you pay for that second person. Remember, the ship doesn't care actually how many are in there. They're charging us for 2 people in that cabin. We can give a $100 discount on that because they don't charge us for gratuities. So they do charge us port charges, taxes, all of those things. They just don't charge us the gratuity. So we can give that $100 discount back if you want your own room. And again, you just request that on the reservation. So I think we've answered most of the questions that come in regards to reservations. I'm sure you have many more questions, and hopefully we'll answer those either as I continue in this or on future calls and webinars and communication. So making your reservations. Again, the sooner you make your reservation, the better chance you have of all of your requests being met. However, there are deadlines that you must follow. You have until October 31st of this year, 2015, to register to participate. After that, we will be releasing any remaining cabins. We always try to get, again, we have to guess how many people are going to attend. We have deadlines of when we can release cabins, so that's why we impose those deadlines to you. And once we release them, we don't get them back, and if we have to purchase them, it is at that current rate. So you have until October 31st. However, the sooner you register, the better chance it is that we can meet your needs. So please register right away. That really helps us out. Okay, so making your reservations, you must do two things. One, click on the registration link that came in the email that we sent you with this presentation, or you can go to the Youngevity.com page and go to the Resource Center, click on there, and there's a link there also. Either one, they're the same links. Fill out the questions. If you don't know them, fill out best you can. There's a place for you to ask any questions on that. We can give you a call or email you back and let you answer any of your questions, make sure that you have the information correctly. And then it's time to make a deposit. Your registration isn't final until you make a $100 deposit. This deposit is non-refundable. Again, we are required to have so many, once our rooms are set and we're past our cancellation period, they're ours, and there's some pretty big penalties going forward if we don't release them in time. So if you put that $100 deposit on and you get a month out and you decide you can't go, the $100 is non-refundable because we're already past our deadlines, and there's a cost to us at that point. Now there's additional deposits up front that will be required for upgrades and additional guests. And again, that's because we have a limited number. And so if you request that upgrade or that special cabin that holds 3 or 4 people in it, and then you change your mind and we've told somebody else, sorry, you can't bring those guests, or we don't have an ocean view or a balcony upgrade available, now that's all of a sudden open. And so we want to make sure that everybody is able to get the cabin that they want. So the initial deposit is $100 per person. Upgrades are due at the time of registration. So if you want to upgrade to the balcony or the mini suite, as I mentioned, those are due at the time of registration. You can either pay with the points, if you have enough points, or you have a credit card. Now, one thing I do want to point out, I mentioned that partial points couldn't be used for an upgrade, but let's say you earned enough points for an ocean view upgrade, but you want the balcony upgrade. So what you would do is you would use your points for the ocean view, and you would pay the remaining $250 instead of $450 for that balcony upgrade. So we do allow you to use them, and that's what we meant by the 1,500 point increment. You can look at that chart to see what those are. Additional guests, we require you to pay 50% of what it would cost for those guests, and that is when they're the 3rd or 4th person in that, well, either way, we can do either way. So if they're 3rd or 4th person and it's $600, you must put a $300 deposit on them. Again, this is non-refundable because we have to hold this cabin for you. We have to turn their name into the cruise line. If you're requesting an additional cabin, same thing. You'll have a 50% deposit with the balance due on all reservations on November 16th. Of course, we wait until after payday so that you can make sure that those balances are all paid and taken care of.
Thank you, Diabetes is on the right. They are completely clueless.
Muted.
That is most of the questions that have come in on the TAC Dream Vacation. If you have any additional questions, please email events@youngevity.com. We are so excited to have you participate in this TAC Dream Vacation. We're excited that you have even earned it because that makes you one of the top achievers in Youngevity, and we want you to be able to come out, celebrate, network, and just have a great time. And any questions you have, again, events@youngevity.com. You can contact me directly, pgardner@youngevity.com. We are excited to have you aboard the 2016 TAC Dream Vacation on Norwegian's Getaway Dream Vacation. Thanks, everyone, for listening, and have a great day.